Hey everybody, welcome to It's Good to Know You, the official podcast of Horizon Middle School. We take the time to interview some of the people that make our school so gosh darn special. Today's episode is brought to you by the number 6, the number 17, and the always delicious Taco Bell.
We are joined today by a teacher who radiates positivity, energy, and fun. She is celebrated by her students for her creativity, passion, and the way she makes learning come alive. Dedicated to inspiring and motivating young people, both in the classroom and when she is coaching. She blends strong leadership with contagious enthusiasm to help students grow, succeed, and reach their full potential. With an engaging teaching style and a natural ability to connect with kids, she builds meaningful relationships that bring out the very best in everyone she works with. Mrs. Kuhn, it's good to know you, and Horizon is lucky to have you.
Well, thanks for having me on the podcast.
All right, so I guess start off with,
Okay.
As a teacher here, an amazing teacher and well-loved and respected, start off, hey, what's your why? Like, why are you here? Why do you teach?
Well, when I first got into teaching, it really wasn't, I don't know. It took me a while to decide my major in college, and I struggled to find my path. And then I always go back to what I love, what I know, and that's your family. And my grandma was a huge part of that. My grandma Joyce, she taught for over 20 years at Silver Lake. She was an English teacher, and, sitting on her back porch, crisscross applesauce, where she drank her coffee and painted her fingernails. She would sit there and tell us stories about her students, and they were funny. And grandma had a, wonderful vocabulary, and she'd tell these long stories about these kids. And then these kids, would reach out to grandma even after they had graduated. And so it just, listening to her passion and listening to that, I was like, I like that. And it took me a while to figure that out. But once I figured it out, it was right where I needed to be. I first started teaching at Amherst, and I didn't know if that's what I wanted to do. Even I would say 3 years down the road, it wasn't maybe what I wanted to do. But then I started figuring out my groove and how to connect with kids and showing them how they can be valued, which then made my heart happy. And here I am today, almost 20 years later, still in the business.
Is there a specific moment when you kind of figured out you knew that you had it, or was it kind of like little cookie crumbs along the way?
Yeah. So when I first started teaching, we had some pretty tough teachers. And, as a new teacher, you didn't really know maybe the culture of the school and didn't know how your puzzle piece was going to fit into everything. And it took me a while. And one of the, probably my third year of teaching, Sandra Hansen walked past me, and she was getting ready to retire. Well, maybe not quite getting ready to retire at her first retirement, not her second.
Or the third.
And she walked past me, and she just grabbed me by the shoulder, and she said, "You know what? You've really done a nice job. I've really learned to respect you. You're a great teacher." And then she just kind of kept walking, and I was like, holy smokes. Anyways, I think that was the moment where I'm like, well, maybe I'm making this connection. Or just hearing the kids say, "I can't wait to come to your class today." This hits me in the heart. And I'm like, well, I can't wait to see you later today. It just made me feel good. So I think that's when I probably knew that this was where I needed to be, and this is where I needed to be.
I remember when you first started, and I think we had like a 4-square or a 9-square class outside. And I'm like, man, she's going to be good. I'm really excited to have you here, and you've just done an amazing job.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sandra Hansen telling you how good you were and how she respected you. It's kind of like being made by the Godfather.
Seriously, she was the God. Yeah, she's the godmother or whatever.
That's right.
But you got that pat on the back. You're like, heck yeah,
Nice.
I did it.
Who in your life has brought out the best in you, and how did they do it?
I would say there's maybe a multitude of people that at different moments they've inserted themselves into my life that I just needed to hear what they needed to say, or I needed to hear something from them at that exact moment. Lori Moore has been a huge molder for me. Kent Shagru was a huge mentor for me. And early on in my teaching, just I think I overcomplicate things sometimes, not keeping it simple. I just overcomplicate things. And he was just always super simple with his notes, super simple with his words. And I think that helped ground me a little bit. And then, of course, my team, like Mitch Sanny, Emily Davidson, Carrie Barnes, and the late Jess Edom, have totally just molded me into the person that I needed to be, built me up when I needed it. You sit in team time and you just maybe had a horrible lesson, or, kid said something that was really rude, or you had to deal with a behavior, and just having those people in your corner just saying, you can do this, you're a good teacher, maybe try this, I think have been huge for me. I'm a kind of a words of affirmation and an acts of kindness girl. So when others do that for me, like motivates me to move forward. And then I try harder.
When people believe in you, and it gives you a tremendous amount of confidence. Like you can do anything.
Well, and that helps with my positive self-talk too. It's one of the things I use in class. I always refer to like sports, you got to have positive thoughts inside your head and positive conversations with yourself. And so when they say that stuff to me and like encourage me, changes my talking to myself too.
Since you mentioned sports, you are our C-team girls volleyball coach.
Yeah, C-team.
What's up? All right, kind of talking about that a little bit, bringing out the best of them. Anything you want to share about the season and those girls you've been coaching and building up?
Oh my gosh. When was given this opportunity, I kind of him-hawed around a little bit about it just because my older daughter's in high school and I didn't want to miss out on her things, but yet then Kayla's in middle school. So I thought, well, you know what, I'm going to do this. And, they're amazing. Some of the girls on C team I didn't teach last year and, they're amazing kids. Watching them grow and shine and smile. And I look forward to practice every single day. I look forward to seeing those girls. I don't think they realize just how good of an impact they have on my day after a long day of teaching and a long day of being around kids. It's just nice to come to practice and just watch them be themselves and try their hardest. It's the best.
That is so true. On Tuesday, after our conferences on Monday, I told Howard it was so nice to just go to practice and be around the guys and, just be outside and have fun with them. They're very inspiring.
Yeah, it is great. I have a young gal. I'm going to give a shout out to my Zay Sellers. Like, she is my girl. She is humble. She is positive. She always looks at me like, am I doing okay? I'm like, Zay, if you're trying your best, like that's all anyone could ever ask of you. And sometimes I just even see my young Randy Kuhn in some of these girls' eyes and just trying to give them the affirmations and give them that encouragement that maybe young Randy would have wanted. So.
You kind of mentioned like Zay kind of looking at you like, asking am I doing okay? Mm-hmm. So as a teacher, a mom, coach, how do you notice when someone around you needs a little boost?
You look at them and maybe they're having a bad day, or they're not sitting with buddies, or don't have a partner in class, or they're not up wiggling around like the rest of the kids. Just the tiny, tiny little, like, I noticed phrases. Like, we just had a new girl move in. Just looking at her on Friday, I said, man, you look really pretty today. Your hair looks great. You have a nice fit going on. And just those tiny words. And that took me less than 5 seconds to say that. And I went on with my day. Just those little building marks. That's just how you start a relationship with anyone. It's just, I notice things like, I noticed you changed your shoes today, man. They look great. It's just small things, but they're genuine things. They really did look great, and I really did notice it. So they just have to be genuine and just small little building blocks.
You notice these things, and you're genuine with your words. But the big thing is you take the time to actually say those kind of words and build people up. So often we might have those ideas kind of pop, like, oh, that looks cool, or the person looks really nice today, or that was really nice. I saw them do that, but we don't say that and share that and notice that.
I do have one story to share with that. I had a kid a couple years ago who just struggled a little bit fitting in socially. And every day a kid brings like a pet rock to class. You know what I'm saying? I've been around 7th grade middle schoolers for a while, and I'm like, oh, this is a red flag. The kids are going to jump all over this. This could escalate. This could ruin this kid's year. And instead of allowing that to happen, I joked around. And it took some of my class time away. I'll be honest with you. It took 10, 15 minutes of my class time that we should have been covering geography stuff. And I allowed it to happen. And it was just natural. It was just genuine. So anyways, he had this rock and it had a googly eye or whatever. And the googly eye kept falling off, and he'd come in after school and want to hot glue it. So no problem. We'll hot glue it. Made the best of it. Well, kids started catching on to it, and the story of his name was Dwayne, by the way, Dwayne the Rock. And so anyways, left it in my class one day, and I thought, here's my chance. And I could just literally sat there and I'm like, I'm going to take that rock. Here's my opportunity to create a story out of this. And so his eye was off. So he had one googly eye on, and he was just laying on the floor. And so I picked him up and invented this huge crime scene and how Dwayne got kidnapped and blah, 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 blah. And so the kids kind of caught wind of this, and it was a highlight of my year. Kids still talk about it. That rock went all over to all other people's classrooms, and that kid had to look for it. It was almost Where's Waldo for the entire year. And so I was able to kind of run with it, and it was adorable. And I needed that at that moment, and I think he needed it too.
Kids were so into it. And I got interrogated lots of times, being accused of kidnapping or rock napping Dwayne. Yeah. You set him up to look really good in front of his peers, and to turn that moment where could have been bad or made fun of until making him like a rock star.
Yeah. I mean, I love him.
Well, one thing you mentioned was somebody might say like wasting time in class doing that type of stuff. Like waste or investment?
Dude, 100%. I mean, okay, some will look at that as waste. Some. It is not. Do it. Every time an opportunity like that comes about, just do it. It'll be a million times more rewarding for the kids. Shoot, I've got so many stories. I actually brought in a picture of my boy Craig behind me. I had a really rough 9th period class a couple years ago. It was rough. We weren't doing the lesson and the kids weren't learning, and it was constant behavior disruptions. And we just took a moment, and I bet this took the entire class. I wasted an entire class period just on this. We were researching stuff and the kids were messing around and they weren't doing it correctly. So I said, we need to research things, use scholarly websites. And we don't want a website that some dude in his basement is just typing into a blog. It's not real. He's never been to the Great Wall of China. So don't use his stuff. We need to come up with whatever. And so they're like, well, what does that guy look like? And I'm like, well, I don't know. He's maybe wearing a Minecraft jacket. And so it just spiraled from there. And I bet we spent at least a class period just creating this fictitious dude that lives in his grandma's basement with a hairless cat, like the whole period. From that moment on, that 9th period worked the hardest for me because we made a relationship. We had something in common. It just clicked. So that was another thing that I did that wasted class time, but was a huge investment for the rest of the year. Huge investment.
It sounds like you have mastered that stuff, not letting that stuff slide and just go by the wayside. That's why you're a legend. I mean, that's why, kids can see a fake really easily, and you're definitely not a fake.
Well,
so
thanks.
On that same topic, teaching takes a tremendous amount of effort and passion. If you're going to do it right, how do you stay motivated every day?
Well, we all had a mentor at one point in time, and he used this phrase all the time. You are either green and growing or you are ripe and rotting. And that stuck with me for ages. It does take a tremendous amount of effort, but you're worth it. Your sanity is worth it, and the kids' is worth it too. So you can't just hit print on a worksheet every day. You've got to, I personally believe, this is my biased opinion, you have got to be where they're at. You have to be honest with the kids. You have to say, guys, today we're not going to be doing crazy stuff in class. Today we're actually going to be taking notes. But tomorrow we do the hard stuff today. Tomorrow we get to do the fun stuff. If you're just honest with them, because that's how real life is. We can't all just go out and spend thousands of dollars at the store. We've got to work first before we can go spend the money. And so just teaching them those skills, being honest with them, and finding fun ways. You can't just be stuck. Let me rephrase. I don't want to be the old teacher that's just stuck doing old things. I want to be in the here and the now, and I want to be relevant. Does that make sense? I want to be not just in the content that I'm teaching, but in the skills that are going on. You could get mad in the face when the kids are going, ooh, 6, 7. But if you just handle it and embrace it and not make a big deal out of it, 99% of the time, you just keep coasting.
Now, Mr. McIntosh might not agree with you there because 6, 7 as a math teacher is driving him insane.
I now Miss High, so I get the opportunity because I'm coaching now. I haven't been around Miss High often, but I get to be around her now, and she's a wonderful human being. And she made an entire math worksheet where all the answers were 6, 7, and then 6th graders were like, yes, they loved it.
That's good stuff.
So burnout is real as teachers and educators. How do you find balance in your life to recharge?
Biggest thing is being around people that level you up. 7-3 or 7 Black, wonderful. Just eating lunch with them and realizing you're not alone in the trenches. The struggles that I have, like a rough class or a lesson didn't go the way you wanted to, or, we've been having trouble with the printers too. Printers doesn't print when you hit print. Sometimes you have to go back and forth a couple times. Just listening and to other people's struggles, be like, I'm normal. Everything's going to be okay. That helps me with my burnout. I work out at 5 o'clock in the morning. That helps too. Just being around like-minded people that are here for the kids, that are here for the right reasons fills my cup every single day.
Students, time for a pop quiz.
All right, everybody, get out those papers and pencils. It's time for pop quiz. All right, Mrs. Kuhn, we have 10 rapid-fire questions for you. Are you ready?
I'm nervous, but I'm ready.
You can do this.
All right, here we go. Mr. Cashlin, go.
Would you rather explore the Amazon rainforest or the Sahara Desert?
Amazon.
If Mr. Sandy had spinach in his teeth, do you A, tell him, B, laugh, or C, take a selfie first?
I would probably tell him.
That's so nice.
I've learned real quick Mitch wants to know right away when something happens, so I need to tell him.
I know that you like music through my girls who've been in your class. What theme song would you like to have playing every time you entered the classroom?
Oh, this is rough. Does it have to be appropriate for school?
No.
DMX.
Ooh.
X gonna give it to you.
That's a really good
Sorry.
And there is probably a school prepping version of that somewhere.
Probably.
But don't worry. All right, pineapple on pizza, yay or nay?
Nay.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Thank you.
I'm going to
Gross.
find somebody. I'm going to keep asking that question until I find
You're
somebody that agrees
not
with
gonna
me.
find-
No,
It's
a
there's somebody
fruit.
else. It's delicious.
It's a smoothie. Put it in a smoothie.
There's one other
No,
person,
I'm
and it's my wife. But
Well, she's awesome.
Gross.
she is awesome. If you could play a sport professionally, what would it be?
CrossFit.
Biggest Fortnite pro tip. Lots of people don't know that you're a hardcore Fortnite
Yes.
player.
Dude, that was COVID 2020. Totally COVID. And then my husband was deployed. And so that's my girls and I. We were like trios constantly. Find a good bush and hide. Get a good sniper. Get good with sniping. But find a bush and just start flicking them off.
Most people right now, bush camper.
I know, dude.
But you know what?
Yeah.
You get wins, right? Get the
Yeah,
dubs.
man. And then I do a little gritty in the bush. And that's what happens.
That's right.
Would you rather meet George Washington or Abraham Lincoln for lunch?
Shoot. This is a hard one for me because those guys are my boys. Probably have to do Abe. First of all, I want to see how tall he is, but I want to see him.
All right, fart jokes. Funny or not funny?
Super funny. Super funny.
Completely agree.
Especially when it's quiet reading time and someone rips a good one. I can't help. I'm like, dude, whoa, where'd that come from? Anyways, yeah, you better go check your britches.
This question comes from my daughter, McKaylee.
Ooh.
She wants to know, what's your go-to girl dinner?
Ooh, all pasta all the time. Big fettuccine or tortellini, big pasta with some salad and some breadsticks.
Girls good.
Speaking of food, which snack has the most aura? Takis, Slim Jims, or Nerds Clusters?
Right now, probably Takis.
They're pretty fire.
But make sure they have a bunch of water while they're in there.
Yeah.
Gets a little spicy.
All right, to end our discussion, what I'd like you to do right now is, since you are so good at building people up and finding the best in people and situations, I want you to go ahead and hype up Horizon Middle School.
Okay.
Man. What do you love about Horizon?
I'm ready.
Go.
I'm hyped. One of the best things I love about Horizon Middle School is the people inside these walls. We're not just coming here to teach. That's not what we do all day. We come here to build each other up. We're here. We got each other's back. The kids feel included. The kids hopefully feel safe. And it's just instances just like this, you guys, being around people that are like-minded, willing to put in the extra time, the extra effort. And that's Horizon Middle School through and through.
Oh, you see it right there.
Yeah,
It's
buddy.
goosebumps. I got goosebumps.
Goosebumps. This is real. It's real goosebumps.
Mrs. Kuhn, thank you so much for joining us, and we appreciate so much for taking the time to join us in this podcast.
Mrs. Kuhn, it's good to know you.
Oh, thank you guys. Thanks for having me.